Listen, I need to explain something about humans before we get into this absolute disaster of a story. We thought we understood them. The Galactic Council thought they had it all figured out. Soft species, fragile bones, short lifespans, ridiculously emotional. But here's the thing about assumptions. They make you look like an idiot when reality kicks down your door and laughs in your face. My name is Vex, and I'm what you'd call an observer for the Terran Integration Committee. Basically, I watch humans do stupid human things and file reports that nobody reads. Thrilling career choice, right? But this particular case? This one made me question everything I thought I knew about these pink, squishy creatures. Her name was Riley Vance. 17 years old. Should have been worried about exams and whoever she was going to take to prom. Should have been posting pictures of her lunch on whatever social media platform the kids were using that week. Should have been normal. Instead, Riley Vance spent the last 2 years fighting in the Outer Rim conflicts. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 years. The same conflicts that made hardened Krillian shock troops request psychiatric leave. The same battles that turned entire battalions of Thoraxian warriors into shaking wrecks who couldn't sleep without medication. And now she was going back to high school. I'm not making this up. I genuinely wish I was. The transport shuttle touched down on a Tuesday morning in September in a nothing-special town called Riverdale Springs, somewhere in the middle of North America. Population 12,000, 1 high school, 3 coffee shops, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and the biggest excitement is usually when someone's dog gets loose at the farmer's market. Riley stepped off that shuttle wearing her discharge uniform, a duffel bag slung over one shoulder, and an expression that could freeze plasma. I was monitoring from orbit, standard protocol for returning human soldiers. We'd learned the hard way that reintegration could get messy. Her mother was waiting. Catherine Vance, 42, worked as a nurse at the local hospital. She ran toward Riley with tears streaming down her face, arms outstretched for a hug that any normal person would have welcomed after 2 years away. Riley didn't move. She just stood there, shoulders rigid, jaw clenched, while her mother wrapped her arms around her. I zoomed in the surveillance feed. Riley's hands were shaking, not from emotion, from restraint. She was actively stopping herself from reacting to the contact like it was a threat. "Oh boy, I missed you so much, baby," Catherine sobbed into Riley's shoulder. "I missed you every single day." "Yeah," Riley said, flat, emotionless. "Me too." That was a lie. I could tell from the micro-expressions, the way her eyes scanned the perimeter, the slight shift in her stance that kept her mother between herself and the shuttle in case she needed cover. Riley Vance hadn't been thinking about home. She'd been thinking about survival. Catherine pulled back, wiping her eyes, smiling despite the obvious discomfort. "Come on, honey, let's go home. I made your favorite dinner. Lasagna, remember?" Riley nodded, picked up her duffel bag, followed her mother to their vehicle, a beat-up sedan that had seen better decades. The whole time, her eyes never stopped moving, scanning, analyzing, looking for threats that didn't exist in suburban Ohio. This was going to be spectacular. And by spectacular, I mean catastrophically terrible. The house was exactly what you'd expect. 2 stories, white paint peeling slightly around the windows, a lawn that needed mowing, and a basketball hoop in the driveway that probably hadn't been used in years. Catherine kept up a steady stream of chatter about what Riley had missed, who'd gotten married, who'd had babies, whose dog had died. Riley said nothing. Inside, the house smelled like home cooking and laundry detergent. Catherine had, decorated with those inspirational signs that humans love so much, live, laugh, love, in cursive over the fireplace. Home is where the heart is, in the kitchen, that kind of thing. Riley stood in the living room like she'd been dropped onto an alien planet, which, Technically, she had been. Multiple times. But this seemed harder for her somehow. "Your room is exactly how you left it," Catherine said, beaming. "I didn't change a thing. Well, I cleaned it, obviously. But all your stuff is there. Your posters, your books, everything." Riley climbed the stairs slowly. Each step measured. Careful. Like she expected the wood to give way beneath her feet. Her room was a time capsule. Band posters on the walls. Stuffed animals on the bed. A desk with old-school notebooks still stacked in the corner. Pictures taped to the mirror. Riley with friends, laughing, carefree, young. A different person. She dropped her duffel bag and sat on the bed. It creaked under her weight. Too soft. Too comfortable. She stood back up immediately and ended up sitting on the floor instead, back against the wall, where she could see both the door and the window. Old habits. Dinner was awkward. Catherine tried her best, asking questions about where Riley had been, what she'd done. Riley gave one-word answers. Classified featured heavily. So did fine and nothing special. Nothing special. Right. I'd read the reports. Riley had been part of a human special forces unit attached to the 47th Expeditionary Fleet. She'd seen action on 14 different worlds, survived 3 ship breaches, pulled wounded soldiers out of burning wreckage, held positions against impossible odds, earned commendations from 4 different species military branches. Nothing special. School starts tomorrow, Catherine said gently. I know it's sudden, but the administration thought it would be better to get you back into routine. Normal life, you know? Riley's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. School. Yes, honey. Riverdale High. Just like before. You'll be a senior this year. Isn't that exciting? You can still graduate with your class, catch up with your friends. Right, Riley said. Friends. The next morning arrived way too fast. Catherine woke Riley up at 6:30, knocking gently on the door. Time for school, sweetie. Riley had been awake for 2 hours already. I could see from the thermal imaging that she'd barely slept, maybe 90 minutes total. She'd spent most of the night sitting against the wall, staring at the door. She dressed in jeans and a plain black shirt. No makeup. Hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. Combat ready. Even though she was going to chemistry class, Catherine drove her to school, still maintaining that determined cheerfulness. You're going to do great, honey. Everyone's so excited you're back. Mrs. Patterson said she can't wait to see you in English class. And your friends? Oh. Morgan has been texting me asking when you'd be home. She missed you so much. Riley stared out the window. Yeah. Riverdale High School looked exactly like every other human high school I'd observed. Brick building, too many teenagers, fluorescent lighting, and that unique smell of floor cleaner mixed with adolescent anxiety. Students crowded the hallways, shouting greetings, comparing schedules, laughing at jokes that probably weren't that funny. Riley walked through the front doors, and the noise hit her like a physical force. I saw her flinch. Actually flinch. She pressed her back against the wall immediately, eyes wide, breathing, accelerating. Too many people. Too much chaos. No clear exits. No cover positions. No weapon. Riley? Oh my God! Riley! A girl with bright red hair and an enthusiasm that could power a small planet came running down the hallway. Morgan Hayes. They'd been best friends since elementary school, according to the files. Morgan threw her arms around Riley in a crushing hug. You're back! You're actually back! I can't believe it. Why didn't you tell me? I would have picked you up from the shuttle. Oh my God, you look so different. Did you cut your hair? It looks amazing. Wait, are you taller? You look taller. Are you taller? Riley stood rigid in Morgan's embrace, arms at her sides, jaw tight. "Hi, Morgan. Hi, Morgan. That's all I get?" "Girl, you've been gone for 2 years. 2 years. Do you know how boring it's been without you? Tell me everything. Where did you go? What did you do? Did you see any cool planets? Did you meet any cute aliens?" "Classified," Riley said. "I can't talk about it." Morgan's smile faltered slightly. "Oh, right. Military stuff. That's so cool, though. You were in the military. That's like so badass. Everyone's going to want to hear about it. Come on, let's get to homeroom. Mrs. Patterson is going to freak out when she sees you." Morgan grabbed Riley's hand and pulled her down the hallway. Riley let herself be led, but I could see the tension in every muscle. She was scanning constantly. Windows, doors, faces, looking for threats, looking for danger, in a place where the biggest risk was cafeteria food poisoning. Homeroom was exactly what you'd expect. 25 teenagers trying to wake up before 8 in the morning? Mrs. Patterson was a pleasant woman in her 50s who wore too much floral print and genuinely seemed to care about her students. "Riley," she exclaimed when she saw her. "Welcome back. We're so glad to have you home safe. Please, take any seat you'd like." Every head turned to stare. 25 pairs of eyes focused on Riley, evaluating, judging, curious. Riley's hand twitched toward her hip, where a sidearm would have been. Wasn't. She forced herself to walk to an empty desk in the back corner. Of course, it was the back corner. Wall behind her. Clear line of sight to the door. Defensible position. "Okay, everyone, settle down," Mrs. Patterson said. "Let's take attendance, and then we'll go over today's announcements." The morning proceeded in standard high school fashion. Bells rang. Students shuffled between classes. Teachers tried to make curriculum interesting and mostly failed. Riley moved through it all like a ghost, present but not really there. In chemistry, the teacher, Mr. Holbrook, was demonstrating something with beakers and liquids. An experiment. Routine. Educational. He mixed 2 solutions together. They reacted. Made a loud popping sound and a small flash of light. Riley was on the floor instantly. Desk knocked over. Chair kicked back. Hands covering her head. Breathing rapid and shallow. The classroom went silent. Everyone staring. "Riley?" Mr. Holbrook said carefully. "Are you okay?" Riley looked up, saw everyone watching her, realized where she was, slowly stood up, righted her desk, sat back down. "Fine. I'm fine." Just startled me. But she wasn't fine. I could see her hands shaking, could see the sweat on her forehead. That was a full panic response. Combat instinct triggered by a chemistry demonstration. At lunch, Morgan dragged Riley to their usual table. 4 other girls were already sitting there. Jessica, Amber, Taylor, and someone named Brittany, who apparently hadn't been part of the group before Riley left. "Look who's back," Morgan announced triumphantly. "Our girl Riley." The responses varied. Jessica smiled warmly. Amber looked uncomfortable. Taylor seemed genuinely happy. Brittany looked annoyed at having the group dynamic disrupted. "So," Jessica said after the initial greetings, "what was it like? The military?" Riley picked at her food. "Cafeteria pizza that looked like it might actually be a war crime itself." "It was fine." "Just fine?" Taylor pressed. "Come on, you have to give us more than that. Did you shoot guns? Did you fly spaceships? Did you meet any aliens?" "Yes, no, yes," Riley answered, without elaboration. Awkward silence. "She can't talk about it," Morgan said quickly. "It's classified." "Right, Riley?" "Right." Well, that's convenient, Brittany muttered under her breath. Riley's eyes snapped to her. Cold. Hard. The kind of look that made veteran soldiers reconsider their life choices. What did you say? Brittany shifted uncomfortably but tried to maintain her attitude. I just think it's weird that you show up after 2 years and act all mysterious, like you're too good to talk to us now. Brittany, Morgan hissed, don't be rude. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking, Brittany said, crossing her arms. She left. She chose to leave. Now she's back, and acting all weird and traumatized or whatever. It's drama. Riley stood up, calmly, slowly. But there was something terrifying about the movement. Controlled violence waiting to happen. You're right, Riley said quietly. I am traumatized. I watched people die. I killed people. I saw things that will give me nightmares for the rest of my life. So, yeah. Maybe I'm a little weird. Maybe I don't fit in anymore. Maybe your biggest problem being which boy to ask to homecoming seems absolutely ridiculous to me now. The table went silent. The surrounding tables too. Everyone was listening now. But here's the thing, Riley continued, her voice never rising above conversational volume, but somehow commanding absolute attention. I did all that so you could sit here and complain about drama, so you could worry about stupid high school garbage instead of whether you're going to survive the next artillery strike. So, maybe cut me some slack for being a little off. She picked up her tray and walked away. Just left. No dramatic exit. No slamming doors. Just turned and walked out of the cafeteria like it was a tactical withdrawal. Morgan ran after her. Riley! Wait! She didn't mean it. She's just being Brittany. Please don't go. Riley stopped in the empty hallway. I can't do this, Morgan. I can't sit there and pretend everything's normal. It's not normal. I'm not normal anymore. Then, we'll figure it out together, Morgan said firmly. You're my best friend. I don't care if you're different. I'm just glad you're alive. And there it was. The crack in Riley's armor. Her eyes got wet. Just for a second. Before she blinked it away and rebuilt those walls. Yeah, she said quietly. Me too. The rest of the day continued its downward spiral. In gym class, someone threw a basketball too hard, and it bounced off the wall behind Riley. She spun, dropped into a combat stance, fists raised, ready to fight. The gym teacher had to talk her down like she was a spooked animal. In history class, they were discussing military conflicts. The teacher, well-meaning but clueless, asked Riley if she wanted to share her experiences. She declined. He pressed. She stood up and walked out without a word. By the time the final bell rang, Riley looked exhausted. Not physically tired, mentally drained, like she'd been fighting a battle all day. Which she had been, just not the kind anyone else could see. Catherine picked her up. How was your first day? Back? Riley stared out the window. It was school. Did you see your friends? How's Morgan? Did you get your schedule sorted out? Yeah. Fine. Yeah. Catherine tried a different approach. I know this is hard, honey. Adjusting back. But it'll get easier. You just need time. Riley didn't respond. What could she say? That time didn't fix what she'd seen? That you can't just forget watching your squad mate bleed out in your arms? That every loud noise made her want to find cover? That she felt more at home in a combat zone than in her own bedroom? That night, Riley sat on the floor of her room again. I monitored from orbit, running analysis protocols, trying to predict how this situation would develop. The preliminary assessment wasn't good. Riley Vance was a soldier, trying to exist in a civilian world. A warrior trapped in a place that had no use for warriors. A girl who'd seen too much, trying to pretend she could go back to being a girl who'd seen nothing. And Riverdale High School had absolutely no idea what to do with her. This was only day one. I began drafting my report with a growing sense of dread. Human reintegration protocols were clearly inadequate. The disconnect between military service and civilian life was creating a pressure point. Something was going to break. I just hoped it wouldn't be Riley. Though honestly, looking at the data, it was more likely that everything else would break first. And that's when things would get really interesting. Because here's what the Galactic Council never understood about humans. You don't forge someone in the fires of war and expect them to go back to normal. You don't turn a teenager into a soldier and expect her to care about pep rallies and homework. You don't send someone to hell and back and expect them to pretend heaven is boring. Riley Vance survived warfare. Now, she had to survive something infinitely more complicated. High school. May whatever gods the humans believe in have mercy on everyone involved, because I had a feeling nobody else would. So here's where things got complicated. And by complicated, I mean absolutely insane in ways that made me question whether humans should ever be allowed to interact with normal society after military service. It was day 3 when Riley snapped. Not the violent kind of snap. Thank the void. The other kind. The kind where you just stop pretending everything's okay and decide that social norms are optional suggestions rather than actual rules. Wednesday morning started like the previous 2. Riley awake, before dawn, Catherine making breakfast, forced conversation, drive to school. The routine was establishing itself, and that seemed good on paper. Observers like me love patterns. Patterns are predictable. Riley Vance was not predictable. She walked into school that morning with different energy. Not defeated, not anxious, determined. I flagged it immediately in my report. Subject, displaying behavioral shift. Recommend increased monitoring. First period was English with Mrs. Patterson. They were studying some classic literature piece about society and conformity. The irony was apparently lost on everyone except Riley and me. Who can tell me what the author is trying to say about following rules? Mrs. Patterson asked the class. Riley's hand went up. First time, she'd voluntarily participated. Mrs. Patterson looked thrilled. Yes, Riley? That sometimes rules are stupid, and following them blindly makes you complicit in bad systems, Riley said flatly. The classroom went quiet. Well, that's certainly one interpretation, Mrs. Patterson said carefully, though perhaps a bit reductive. Is it, though? Riley continued. I mean, the whole book is about people doing terrible things because they were told to, because it was easier to follow orders than think for themselves. Seems pretty clear to me. Mrs. Patterson opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. That's a very mature observation, Riley. Perhaps we can explore that theme further. But Riley was already done participating. She'd made her point. She went back to staring out the window, watching the perimeter like enemy forces might appear at any moment. Second period was where things escalated. Mathematics. Mr. Caldwell was one of those teachers who thought making kids solve problems on the board was character building. Spoiler alert, it's not. It's just awkward. Riley, why don't you come up and show us how to solve number 14? Mr. Caldwell said. Riley looked at the board, looked at him. No, Mr. Caldwell blinked. Excuse me? I said no. I don't want to. Miss Vance? That wasn't a request. Riley stood up, calmly packed her notebook into her bag. Then, I guess we're at an impasse, because I'm not doing it. If you refuse, I'll have to send you to the principal's office. Riley shrugged. Okay. And she walked out. Just left. Mr. Caldwell stood there, sputtering like a broken engine, while the rest of the class tried to figure out if They'd just witnessed a revolution. I increased my monitoring frequency. This was developing faster than projected. Principal Garrett was a large man in his 50s, who ran the school with what he considered firm but fair discipline. He'd dealt with troublemakers before. Suspected drug users, kids who vandalized property, standard teenage rebellion. He had no idea what to do with Riley Vance. "Miss Vance," he said when she appeared in his office, "I understand you walked out of class." "Yes, sir," Riley said. She sat at attention, perfect posture, hands folded. "That's unacceptable behavior. We have rules here." "I understand, sir." "Then, why did you do it?" Riley met his eyes. No fear, no defiance either, just honest assessment. Because the alternative was telling Mr. Caldwell exactly what I thought of his teaching methods, and that seemed less productive. Principal Garrett leaned back in his chair. "You're having trouble adjusting." "That's an understatement, sir. Your mother mentioned you served in the Outer Rim." "That must have been difficult." Riley said nothing. "We want to help you, Riley, but you have to work with us. You have to follow the rules like everyone else." "With respect, sir," Riley said quietly. "I just spent 2 years following rules that actually mattered. Life or death. Rules. Don't expose your position. Don't leave your squad. Don't hesitate when it counts. Coming back here and being told I have to ask permission to use the bathroom or solve math problems I already know how to do feels pointless." Principal Garrett sighed. He looked tired suddenly. "I can't imagine what you've been through. But this is the system we have. If every student decided which rules to follow, it would be chaos." "Maybe some chaos would be good," Riley said. She got detention. 2 hours after school. Catherine was upset when she found out, but trying to be understanding. "Honey, I know this is hard, but you have to try. You can't just walk out of class whenever you feel like it." Riley nodded, said nothing, served her detention in silence, while the supervising teacher, Coach Martinez, graded papers and occasionally glanced at her like she was a bomb that might explode. Thursday brought a new development. Riley started attracting attention from unexpected sources. There was a kid named Danny Park. Quiet. Kept to himself. Wore the same hoodie every day and ate lunch alone in the library. Classic outsider. The kind of student who moved through high school trying to be invisible. He approached Riley at lunch. Morgan and the others had claimed their usual table, but Riley was sitting outside on the steps, eating an apple and watching the parking lot. "Hey," Danny said. "Mind if I sit?" Riley glanced at him. Evaluated. Decided he wasn't a threat. Free country. Danny sat down, leaving appropriate space between them. "I heard what you said to Brittany. About why you're weird." "Great. Everyone heard that." "I thought it was cool," Danny continued. "Most people here don't have perspective. They think their problems are the only problems that matter. You've actually seen real stuff." Riley looked at him properly for the first time. "You former military?" "No, but my older brother was. Marines. He served in the Kepler campaign. Came back different. Like you. Where is he now?" Danny's expression darkened. "Drunk himself to death 6 months ago. Couldn't handle being back. Couldn't adjust." Riley stopped eating. "I'm sorry." "Yeah, me too." Danny stood up. "Anyway, I just wanted to say I get it. Not everyone here is clueless. Some of us understand why normal feels wrong after that." He walked away before Riley could respond. I made a note. Subject: establishing connections with individuals who demonstrate understanding of military trauma. Potential support network forming. That afternoon, things took an unexpected turn. Riley had gym class, which so far had been a disaster of jumping at sudden movements and overreacting to competitive situations. But today was different. Today, they were doing self-defense demonstrations. Coach Williams, a woman in her 30s who took fitness very seriously, announced the unit. Okay, everyone, for the next 2 weeks we'll be learning basic self-defense techniques. This is practical stuff that could actually help you in real situations. Everyone partner up. Students paired off with their friends. Morgan grabbed Riley's hand. Partners? Riley looked uncertain. Morgan, I don't think this is a good idea. Why not? It'll be fun. Come on, you can show me what you learned in the military. That's exactly why it's not a good idea. But Coach Williams was already demonstrating. Okay, so if someone grabs your wrist like this, you rotate your arm here, step back, and break the grip. Everyone try it. The gym filled with awkward attempts, giggles, people doing it wrong, not taking it seriously. Riley stood frozen. Come on, Morgan said, grabbing Riley's wrist gently. Show me how to break out. Riley's training kicked in. Muscle memory. She rotated, stepped, broke the grip, and had Morgan in a submission hold before her conscious mind caught up. Morgan yelped. Ow, ow, ow. Riley, too hard. Riley released immediately, stepping back, hands raised. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you okay? Morgan rubbed her shoulder. Yeah, I'm fine. Just, wow. That was fast. Coach Williams had noticed. She walked over. Miss Vance, can I talk to you for a second? Riley followed her to the side of the gym, expecting punishment. Instead, Coach Williams smiled. That was impressive. Real training, not just YouTube videos. How much hand-to-hand combat experience do you have? Enough, Riley said carefully. I'm going to be honest. Most of these kids don't take this seriously. They think self-defense is a joke. But it could save their lives someday. Would you be willing to help demonstrate? Show them what real technique looks like? Riley hesitated. I don't want to hurt anyone. Controlled demonstrations. I'll be your partner. I've got military training too. Army. 8 years. I can handle it. Something shifted in Riley's expression. Recognition? Respect? You were Army? Combat medic. Saw action in 3 different sectors before I decided teaching was safer. Coach Williams grinned. Spoiler alert, teenagers are more dangerous than enemy combatants. Riley actually smiled. Small, brief, but real. Yeah, I'm figuring that out. For the next 30 minutes, Riley and Coach Williams demonstrated proper self-defense techniques. How to break grips, how to create distance, how to strike effectively if necessary. The class watched in stunned silence. This wasn't their awkward classmate anymore. This was someone who moved with precision and purpose. Someone who actually knew what they were doing. See how Riley maintains her base here? Coach Williams explained. She's balanced. Can't be easily pushed over. That's key. You're no good to yourself on the ground unless you want to be there. They went through scenarios. Wrist grabs, bear hugs, choke holds. Riley responded to each with textbook perfect counters, modified for safety. She was careful, controlled, but you could see the capability underneath. The potential for real violence if it was necessary. Okay, Coach Williams said at the end. That's what it looks like when someone actually knows what they're doing. Practice those techniques with your partners. Riley and I will come around and help. For the first time since returning, Riley looked comfortable. In her element, this was familiar territory. Physical problems with physical solutions. No social ambiguity. No pretending. After class, several students approached her, not to mock, to ask questions. How did you learn that? One boy asked. Can you teach me that armbar thing? A girl wanted to know. That was sick. Are you like a ninja or something? Riley fielded questions with growing confidence. Brief answers. Technical explanations. No elaboration on where she'd learned it or why. Coach Williams pulled her aside afterward. You did good today. I meant what I said about helping. These kids could learn a lot from you. And between us, I think you could use something familiar. Something that makes sense. Yeah, Riley admitted. This was okay. Better than sitting in a classroom pretending algebra matters. Oh, algebra definitely doesn't matter, Coach Williams said with a conspiratorial grin. Don't tell the math department I said that. Friday arrived with building momentum. Word had spread about Riley's gym class demonstration. Suddenly, she wasn't just the weird military girl. She was the dangerous military girl. That came with its own problems. Marcus Webb was a problem looking for a place to happen. Senior, linebacker on the football team, used to being the tough guy, used to people being intimidated by him. He cornered Riley at her locker between classes, his friends flanking him. Classic. Dominance display. So you're the soldier girl everyone's talking about, Marcus said. Riley didn't look at him. Kept organizing her books. That's me. My dad says girls can't really be soldiers. Says the military went soft. Your dad's entitled to his opinion. He says they lower the standards so girls can pass. Says it's not real combat. Riley closed her locker, turned to face him. Her expression was completely neutral. Are you trying to make a point? Or just wasting my time? Marcus stepped closer. Invasion of personal space. Intimidation tactic. I'm saying maybe you're not as tough as everyone thinks. Maybe, Riley agreed. Only one way to find out. His friends laughed. Marcus grinned, thinking he'd won. You threatening me? No. Stating fact. You want to know if I'm tough? Test it. Otherwise, move. You're blocking my path to class. The hallway had gone quiet. Everyone watching, waiting. Marcus looked like he might actually do something stupid. His fists clenched, Riley's stance shifted slightly, barely noticeable. But I saw it. She was ready. Calculating distances, angles, targets. This was going to be bad. Marcus, there you are. Coach Williams appeared like she'd been summoned. Coach Henderson is looking for you. Something about practice schedules. Better hurry. Marcus hesitated, caught between maintaining his image and actual authority. Authority won. Whatever. This isn't over. Yes, it is, Coach Williams said firmly. Because you're going to walk away and leave Miss Vance alone. Right? Marcus glared at Riley, then at Coach Williams. Then walked away, friends following. You okay? Coach Williams asked Riley quietly. I had it handled. I know you did. That's what worried me. Come on, walk with me to your next class. As they walked, Coach Williams spoke low enough that only Riley and my surveillance equipment could hear. Listen, I get it. Guys like that are annoying. But you can't fight him. He started it. Doesn't matter. You put hands on him? With your training? That's assault. You'd be arrested. Expelled. Doesn't matter that you were defending yourself. Doesn't matter that he provoked you. The system doesn't care. Riley's jaw clenched. That's not fair. No, it's not. But it's reality. You survived warfare. Don't throw away your future because some idiot with a fragile ego needs to feel tough. Riley nodded slowly. So, what do I do? You walk away. Every time. And if he actually touches you first, you do the minimum necessary to stop the threat, and then you walk away. And you make sure there are witnesses who can confirm he initiated contact. Rules of engagement, Riley said with bitter understanding. Exactly. Different battlefield. Same strategic thinking. They reached Riley's classroom. Coach Williams smiled. You're doing better than you think. Give it time. The rest of Friday passed without incident. Riley avoided Marcus. Went to classes. Actually participated in a discussion about historical warfare strategies in history class, where she gently corrected the textbook's version of several battles. The teacher looked both impressed and slightly offended. That evening, Catherine suggested going out to dinner. Just the two of us. We haven't really had a chance to talk since you got back. They went to a local diner. Quiet place. Few people. Riley sat with her back to the wall, facing the door. Old habit. How are you really doing? Catherine asked after they ordered. Riley picked at her napkin. I don't know how to answer that. Honestly would be good. Honestly? I feel like I'm speaking a different language than everyone else. Like I'm visiting a foreign planet where everything's familiar but wrong. Where problems that used to matter don't anymore. Where things that should matter seem invisible to everyone else. Catherine reached across the table, took Riley's hand gently. I can't imagine what you've been through. But you're home now. Safe. That has to count for something. Am I, though? Riley asked quietly. Safe? Because I don't feel safe. I feel exposed. Every loud noise makes me jump. Every crowd makes me nervous. I scan for exits everywhere I go. I can't sleep for more than an hour without waking up thinking I'm somewhere else. Have you thought about talking to someone? A counselor? The military has counselors. Had several sessions before discharge. They cleared me for civilian life. Said I was adjusting well. But are you? Riley pulled her hand back. I'm trying. Isn't that enough? Their food arrived. They ate in uncomfortable silence. Catherine tried a few more times to start conversation. Riley gave short answers. Eventually, they gave up and finished eating. On the drive home, Catherine spoke without looking at Riley. I'm proud of you. I want you to know that. Whatever you did out there, however hard it was, I'm proud you survived. I'm proud you came home. Thanks, Mom, Riley said softly. That night, I filed my weekly report. Subject showing signs of improved integration in specific contexts involving physical activity and military-adjacent environments. Continues to struggle with standard social situations and authority structures perceived as arbitrary. Recommend continued monitoring. Psychological support may be insufficient. The weekend brought unexpected developments. Morgan called Saturday morning. Hey! There's a party tonight at Jessica's house. Her parents are out of town. You should come. It'll be fun. Riley's first instinct was to refuse, but something made her hesitate. Maybe curiosity. Maybe desperation for normalcy. Maybe just not wanting to disappoint Morgan again. Okay, she said. I'll come. Morgan squealed. Really? Oh, good. I'll pick you up at 8. Catherine was thrilled when Riley told her. That's wonderful, honey. See, you're already reconnecting with friends. This is good. This is progress. Riley wasn't convinced, but she went anyway. Jessica's house was packed. Music too loud, too many people. Drinks being passed around despite everyone being underage. Standard teenage party that would have been fun 2 years ago? Now it was overwhelming. Riley lasted 15 minutes before she had to step outside. Too hot, too crowded, too much. She sat on the back porch steps. Cool night air. Quiet. Better. Danny Park found her there. Not your scene? Not anymore, Riley admitted. Was it ever? Probably not. Danny sat beside her. You don't have to stay. Morgan will understand. Will she, though? Eventually. She cares about you. But she's trying to make everything go back to how it was before. She doesn't get that's impossible. Riley looked at him. How'd you get so wise? Watched my brother try to fit back in. Saw what didn't work. Learned from his mistakes. Danny paused. He used to say, the worst part wasn't the war. It was coming home and realizing home didn't exist anymore. Not the way he remembered. Yeah, Riley said quietly. That's exactly it. They sat, in comfortable silence. Inside, the party continued. Out here, two people who understood loss shared space without needing to fill it with words. Eventually, Morgan came looking. There you are. Why are you out here? Come back inside. We're about to play games. Riley stood. Actually, I think I'm going to head home. Not feeling great. Morgan's face fell. Already? You just got here. I know. I'm sorry. Just tired. You're always tired. Or not feeling well. Or whatever excuse. Morgan's frustration bubbled over. I'm trying here, Riley. I'm trying so hard to make things normal for you, but you have to try too. I am trying. Are you? Because it seems like you're just pushing everyone away. Like you want to be miserable. Riley's expression hardened. You want honesty? Fine. I don't fit here anymore. I don't care about parties or games, or who's dating who. I can't pretend everything's fine when I know what's actually happening out there in the galaxy. When I know what it costs to keep everyone here safe and ignorant. So, yeah, maybe I am pushing people away. Because the alternative is screaming at everyone about how pointless and trivial their problems are. Morgan stepped back like she'd been slapped. Our problems matter to us. I know, and that's the problem. I can't make myself care anymore. Riley walked away, called her mother for a ride, left Morgan standing on the porch looking hurt and confused. The next week brought more of the same. Riley attending classes, participating minimally, avoiding social situations, finding solace in gym class and occasional conversations with Coach Williams and Danny. Then Tuesday happened. The fire alarm went off during lunch. Standard drill. Everyone knew the procedure. File out calmly. Line up in the parking lot. Wait for all clear. Except Riley didn't move. She stood frozen in the cafeteria, eyes wide, breathing rapid. The alarm kept blaring. Students filed past her. Morgan tried to grab her arm. Riley, we have to go. Outside! Riley didn't respond. She was somewhere else. Hearing something else. Seeing something else. I recognized the signs. Immediately. Full dissociative episode, triggered by auditory stimulus matching combat alert patterns. Coach Williams appeared. She'd been on the other side of the building but ran when she saw Riley on the security feeds. Riley, look at me. You're safe. This is a drill. Just a drill. You're at school. Riley's eyes focused slightly. Evac alarm. We need to move. Get to the shuttle bay. No shuttle bay. Just a parking lot. Come on. Let's walk outside together. Coach Williams guided Riley out slowly, talking constantly, grounding her. By the time they reached the parking lot, Riley was back. Present. Aware. And mortified. Everyone had seen her freeze. Everyone knew something was wrong. I'm fine, Riley said when the principal approached. Just forgot the procedure for a second. Nobody believed her. That evening, Principal Garrett called Catherine, suggested Riley might benefit from homebound instruction, finish her classes online, graduate without the stress of daily attendance. Catherine relayed this to Riley. It's not giving up. It's adapting, finding what works for you. Riley sat on her bedroom floor. It's admitting I can't handle normal life. It's admitting that normal life might need to be different for you. And that's okay, Riley thought for a long time. Finally nodded. Okay. Let's do it. The paperwork was filed. Arrangements made. Riley's last day of in-person school was Friday. She cleaned out her locker, turned in textbooks, said awkward goodbyes to teachers who tried to be encouraging. Morgan found her at the end of the day. So you're really leaving? Yeah. I'm sorry I said those things at the party. I was just frustrated. I know. It's okay. It's not, though. You were right. I was trying to force you to be who you were before, but that person doesn't exist anymore. Riley looked at her best friend. I'm still me, just different. I know, and I need to learn who this version of you is. Can I do that? If you want to. Morgan hugged her. I do. We'll figure it out. Video calls, texts, whatever works. Yeah, okay. Riley walked out of Riverdale High School for the last time, got in her mother's car, drove away from the building that was supposed to represent normal teenage life. 2 months later, I filed my final report. Subject Riley Vance has successfully transitioned to homebound education. Academic performance exceeds previous levels. Has begun online support group for veterans experiencing reintegration difficulties. Has been contacted by military liaison about developing better transition programs for young service members. Physical health stable. Mental health improving with appropriate accommodations and support systems. Has maintained friendship with Morgan Hayes and Danny Park through digital communication. Relationship with family unit strong. Subject has found work as self-defense. Instructor at local community center, 3 evenings per week. Reports feeling purposeful and valued in this capacity. Has been contacted by 2 other returning soldiers seeking mentorship. Assessment. Successful adaptation achieved through recognition that traditional reintegration pathways inadequate for subject-specific needs. Required customization of approach rather than forced conformity to standard civilian patterns. Recommendation. Expand observation to other returning human soldiers. Current protocols insufficient. Suggest development of individualized transition programs, recognizing that military service, particularly combat experience, creates permanent cognitive and behavioral changes, requiring accommodation rather than correction. Additional note: humans continue to demonstrate remarkable adaptability when provided appropriate support structures. Subject Riley Vance did not fail to adjust to civilian life. Civilian systems initially failed to adjust to her. Correction has been implemented at local level. Recommend scaling to planetary level. I closed the file. Marked Riley's case as resolved. She'd found her path. Different than expected. Not what anyone planned. But functional. Sustainable. Real. 6 months later, I received an update. Riley had graduated with honors. Been accepted to university with full military scholarship. Started dating someone she met at the community center. Still had nightmares. Still struggled with crowds. Still carried pieces of war with her everywhere. But she was living. Actually living. Not pretending. Not conforming. Just existing as whoever she'd become, war scars and all. The Galactic Council reviewed my reports, implemented new protocols, started treating human soldiers like the complex individuals they were rather than problems to be solved. And me? I moved on to other cases, other observations, other humans doing impossible things in improbable ways. But I never forgot Riley Vance. Warfare to a nightmare called high school. Who survived both? Who taught an entire system that adaptation goes both ways? Humans, I've learned, don't break easily. They bend. They adjust. They find new shapes to fit new spaces. They just need room to do it on their own terms. And sometimes, that's the most human thing of all.